guys, Brandon from Makati Fitness. Today I'm going to be talking about the KLOKOV bar and why it is the best bar that you can't get, pretty much because you can't seem to get into contact with anyone. You can't seem to order the bar, you can't seem to claim your warranty if something's gone wrong, which I still have my little warranty card that came with the bar. I left it at home, so I'll put that here. But essentially, it's one of the best bars for value for money. And if you're in the market for a new bar, I'm going to give you some tips or some things to look out for, or maybe some suggestions if you're looking for a really good weightlifting bar. So if you don't know much about Dmitry KLOKOV, he's essentially a really famous Olympic weightlifter. He's one of the more popular ones. KLOKOV has kind of that fan base where he's in the CrossFit circle, powerlifting and weightlifting. Everyone pretty much respects and knows who he is. So if you don't know anything about him, please look him up on YouTube. There's plenty of videos. He's pretty much more famous on YouTube than he is for his 2008 silver medal at the Olympics. So essentially, Dmitry KLOKOV did a partnership with Again Faster, and then he later on branched off and built his own company called KLOKOV Equipment. Now, when that barbell came out, the KLOKOV Equipment bar, it was around $1,000 Australian, so probably like 1,200 US. And I waited for a sale towards the end. Obviously, KLOKOV Equipment was nearly going out of business, but I didn't realize that at the time. And the bar had a lifetime warranty. So I thought, you know what, why not? It was on sale. So I think I paid around $670 or something like that, nearly just under $700. So it was a pretty good steal when I was looking at potentially getting an Eleiko training bar. So this was the bar that I was comparing it to, and this is what the reviews were kind of comparing this barbell to. For reference, I've used Eleiko comp bars and Eleiko training bars in the past. Eleiko competition bar is still the best bar that I've ever used for weightlifting. It has the perfect amount of whip. It has pretty much one of the best knurlings. But compared to an Eleiko training bar, there's definitely a massive difference in terms of, I guess, quality. Maybe if it doesn't translate on the spec sheets, but the ones that I've used from the training bars, they definitely don't seem to have the same quality or the same feel after a certain time. So that's just something to keep in mind. So that was what I was kind of basing my experience off. And that was one of the things that drew me to purchasing this bar brand new, opposed to spending maybe double on an Eleiko training bar. So going forward, I decided to get this bar. I've had this bar since September 2018. So it's been getting smashed pretty much every day, nearly every day since I brought it. So it's now been around almost 3 years. And I really, really love it. Everyone who comes and trains with me tells me how much they love it, how much they love the knurling. And that's one of the first pros that I want to talk about. So we'll just go through the pros and cons and some things that you might be looking for. But one of the first pros for getting this bar is probably going to be the knurling. So it has a really, really nice knurl, and it's not very, very aggressive or overly sharp. It's not going to be uncomfortable when you're holding onto it. So that's one of the main things that I really like about this bar, and it's not going to shred your hands. Another thing that I really like, and if you've ever used the bar that has center knurling in the middle, so for doing front squats, back squats and cleans and stuff like that, and you feel the bar just absolutely shred your neck, something that's going to be really good is this KLOKOV bar has a really passive, it's called like a passive knurl for the center of the bar, and that just has this feel that it's there, but it's not going to shred your skin on your back or as you receive it for a clean. And that's something that a lot of the other bars seem to get wrong. They seem to do this center knurling that's just as sharp as where you'd put your hands. As far as other design things you might notice on this barbell, you'll see that it has a nice KLOKOV signature, which looks really tough. And then much like the Eleiko barbells, it has that serial number on it, it sounds really gimmicky, the serial number and the signature, but that was one of the things that kind of sold me and made me think that this was more like a professional bar. It isn't IWF approved, so it doesn't have the IWF sticker on it, unlike there's the Rogue weightlifting bar or the Puros bar, which are also really popular choices, which are probably the current choices if you were to choose something that's similar spec. But for the price point, $700, I couldn't really pass that up with all those kind of features. Something else that's a really good pro about this bar is it actually has this blue kind of bumper around the sleeve, and that just gives the bar, if someone wants to drop the barbell, it kind of gives it that cushioning and support, which you're going to hopefully preserve the barbell. So in case you were to drop an empty barbell, Something else I really like is the spin of the bar, and now lots and lots of spin isn't exactly something you want. Just because the bar spins a lot doesn't mean it's actually going to be a good thing for when you're lifting. What you want is a consistent spin, and you want that bar to slow down the same time every time. You don't just want it to keep rotating, and you obviously don't want it to be really stiff. Something I found with the Eleiko training bars, at least the ones that I had used, maybe they hadn't been serviced or looked after, but the bar was really stiff and didn't have that same nice turnover when you do a snatch or a clean. It's just something I noticed. Some things that could be improved on with the barbell is it definitely could be a little bit more whippy, especially if it's going to be like a weightlifting barbell. It definitely feels a lot stiffer than, say, an Eleiko comp bar, or which is what I'm comparing it to, which I'd say is the gold standard. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, or if you haven't heard about the KLOKOV bar, you learnt about it today, and you got to see, you know, how cool it looks with the signature on it and the serial number. It is a really awesome barbell, and if one was to come up for sale and it wasn't damaged or anything like that, and it was fairly cheap, I would certainly pick it up, and I wouldn't hesitate if you can find a second-hand one or a used one. But otherwise, if you guys have any other questions about bars or anything you want to see on the videos on the channel, let us know, and we'll see you guys in the next one.